In this video, I will show you how to create Excel dashboard with cross filter effect similar to Power BI. For example, in this case, if I select on my monthly slicer, it highlight only the selected month, and we have another chart which show category cell based on selected month. Also, I will show you how to create these nice dynamic chart title, and you can easily switch any of the year and everything dynamically update. If you hold Ctrl key and select multiple months, everything dynamically calculate. So how we can create this dashboard in Microsoft Excel with simple pivot table and formula, I will show you each and everything in this video. Consider we have this data sheet. The first thing we need to click anywhere on this table, click on insert, and we need to insert pivot table on a new worksheet. The next thing, I will simply rename this sheet, let's say calculation. Now I will simply move month on a rows field and total sale amount on a values field. I will click on design and we need to off the grand total. I will click again on pivot table analyze and I will simply rename this table, let's say static. The next thing, I will simply copy this whole pivot table, hit Ctrl C, click here and hit Ctrl V. This is how we duplicate our pivot table. Now I will click on pivot table analyze again and we need to rename this pivot table, let's say dynamic. The next thing, I will click any of my pivot table, click on pivot table analyze and we need to insert two slicer, one for month and one for year. Simply hit OK. In this case, I will click on my monthly slicer and we only need to connect monthly slicer with dynamic pivot table. Click on report connection. In this case, my report connection is OK since I only want to connect my monthly slicer with dynamic pivot table. Hit OK. If I click on my yearly slicer, click on report connection. In this case, I need to connect this slicer with both pivot table. Simply hit OK, and now if I click on my monthly slicer, you can see my second pivot table is filtering while my first pivot table show the same value. But if I click on my yearly slicer, both pivot table value are updating. The next thing, I will do a little bit formatting for my slicer. So click any of the slicer, right click on style, duplicate those one, click on format. For the border, in this case, I don't want any border. And for the fill color, simply choose the white fill color and hit OK. Now a new design will be appear. Simply click on the new style. Click on monthly slicer and simply apply the new design. Of course, in this case, I want to off the filter area as well. So I will click on my slicer setting and simply uncheck display header, hit OK. Click on yearly slicer, slicer setting, uncheck display header and hit OK. Now we need to develop another table for our dynamic calculation. So our first column are the month name. Next we develop static value and next will be dynamic value. I will simply click on D4, simply type equal, click on A4, drag the mouse down and select all of the month's name. Click on E4 and select all of the value from column B, hit enter. For the dynamic value, we need to develop a very easy XLOOKUP function. Open parenthesis. For the lookup value, I will assign all of the month's name, hit comma. For the lookup array, in this case, I will assign, let's say, from A19 to A34, hit comma. And for the return array, I will assign sum of cell column. Hit comma. If not found, in this case, I will simply assign double quotation mark, which mean a null value, close parenthesis, hit enter. And this is how our XLOOKUP function will return only the value based on my monthly slicer. If I click, let's say another month, everything dynamically update. If I hold Ctrl key and simply select multiple months, you can see multiple value has been displayed here. Now I will simply select all of these three columns, click on insert, recommended chart. In this case, I will select column chart and simply hit OK. Now I will click on my chart and simply hit Ctrl A and it will select all of the shape. In this case, I have two slicer and one chart and simply hit Ctrl X insert a new worksheet and simply rename this, let's say, dashboard. Hit Ctrl V to paste chart in our to slicer. Now I will do a little bit formatting for my chart first. Now I will simply right click any of the column, format data series. In this case, the gap width I will simply write 10%, and for the series overlap I will simply type 100%. Now we need to create our dynamic chart title. I will go to calculation sheet. Here we need to merge a few rows and column. On the first merge cell, simply write total sale. On the second merge cell, let's say write % of total. For the total sale, I will simply write a very easy sum function, open parenthesis, and simply select the dynamic value column. For the % of total, simply write equal, click on total sale, divide by, simply type sum function, open parenthesis. In this case, I will select the static values, close parenthesis, hit enter. Now I will do a little bit formatting. After a little bit of work, my chart title is ready. But the first thing, I will click on view and be simply off the grid line. Now I will select all of my chart title cell, hit Ctrl C, click on dashboard, right click, paste special. In this case, I will simply select link picture. I will also click anywhere and simply off the grid line on this sheet as well. Now for example, if I select, let's say, any of the month, everything dynamically update. If I select multiple months, everything dynamically update even for year. I think we don't need the legend, so I will simply click and hit delete key. The next thing, I will simply click on my monthly slicer, go to slicer setting. In this case, I will simply convert this 12 column. And now I will move this chart a little bit to the bottom side. In this case, I will also click bring to front, and now I will do a little bit formatting so that it's aligned with my monthly chart. After a little bit of work, my slicer is aligned with my chart. I will move the yearly slicer on the very left side of the chart. In this case, I will click on slicer setting and simply choose bring to front. I think we don't need the grid line on the chart, so simply off the grid line as well. After a little bit of adjustment, my first chart is ready. Now we need to design our second chart. So I will simply go to calculation sheet again and simply select this entire pivot table, hit Ctrl C, click here and hit Ctrl V. Now in this table, I will simply remove the month field and simply input category on a rows field. Now simply click on this table, pivot table analyze, and simply rename this pivot table, let's say, category. Now click anywhere on this pivot table, click on pivot chart, and we need to insert a bar chart and simply hit OK. I will simply hit Ctrl X, go to dashboard, click here and hit Ctrl V. The first thing, we need to do a little bit formatting. I will remove the legend, the horizontal x-axis, right click on this button and hide all field button on chart. Change the chart title, let's say category. I will increase the height a little bit more, right click any of the bar, format data series, and the gap width, let's say 10%. In this case, I think we need to assign the orange field color. So I will simply click on my bars, click on format, and for the shape fill, I will assign the same orange color. I will click on this plus button and I will simply apply the data label. In this case, if I click on format and I select, let's say, plot area, I will decrease this plot area a little bit more. Now we also need to format this category cell number a little bit more. Click on this number. In this case, I will simply assign number with 0 decimal point. If you want to increase the font size, simply go to Home tab and increase the font size, make it bold. Now if I click any of the month, my chart is updating, but this chart is still not updating. So I will simply click on my monthly slicer, Click on slicer setting, report connection, and we need to connect this category table as well. Simply hit OK. I will scroll a little bit to the left side, click on my yearly slicer, report connection. In this case, my category table is automatically connected. Simply hit OK, and now I will close this window. And if I click any of the month, my chart is automatically updating. Of course, one more important update I will show you. Click on calculation sheet, click on this filter button, more sort option, ascending order based on sum of sale, hit OK, and now if you go to the dashboard, everything look perfect. If I click on a monthly, you can see total sale, percent of total sale. Along with this, if you click any of the year, everything dynamically update. I hope you learned something useful and enjoyed this video. If you have anything in mind, just write a comment. Thank you so much.